It takes courage for a creative life. And this is why, because it takes courage to be a beginner. It takes courage to try something new that you know you won't be good at. This is the pursuit of the futile. But here's the best part, you don't need to be good at being creative, you just need to do it. So, do you have the courage to put aside your doubts? Do you have the courage to try something new? Do you have the courage to pursue the futile? Do you have the courage to look at the art supply store to see what is there? Do you have the courage to pull out your guitar and play really badly and probably out of tune just because you enjoy it? Do you have the courage to pull out your notebook and start writing? Do you have the courage to be a beginner? Give yourself permission to be really bad at your creative pursuit. I know you don't have enough time. You can't make money from it. There isn't a measurable benefit, but give yourself permission to pursue the futile just to appreciate the value of your own joy. That's what it means to pursue the futile. You're doing it for the benefit of your own joy because you simply enjoy it. There's no other reason. Now, I will be honest with you, I'm not an artist. You will not see anything that I draw or paint on social media, but I've come to the realization that it's okay to do it because I enjoy it. There's no other reason needed. So give yourself permission to pursue something and be really bad at it. A creative life requires persistence. It takes persistence to decide to be creative. You have to persist beyond the demands of reality to get lost in your creative pursuit. When you are completely absorbed in your pursuit, it will momentarily relieve you from your burdens, or at least help you to put them in perspective. I know this from personal experience. When I've stepped back and shifted gears from work problems or just being absorbed in my own thoughts, and I start doing something that is in the complete opposite direction, I am forced to get out of my own head and look at everything in a different light. So it helps to put things in a better perspective. Curiosity is necessary. So the final ingredient is curiosity. Take a moment to be curious about the world around you. Look at it with wonder. Creative living is not about waiting for the creative lightning bolt to strike and working in feverish activity while you have it. Curiosity will keep the creative juices flowing, or at least spark them when you're ready. Curiosity is one of those things that doesn't require anything from you except getting out of your own head and looking at the world around you. All right, so let's talk practical creativity. And let me tell you about my inner creative. It is bound and gagged and locked away in a closet. Every once in a while, I hear it banging on the door to be let out, and occasionally this hostage needs exercise. So I let it come out and play for a little while. I don't consider myself to be creative. Neither do I consider myself to be an artist. So I'm not sharing this with you from that perspective. I am sharing from the perspective that the majority of the time, my creative is bound and gagged and held hostage. Occasionally, I let it out on sabbatical. And when I do, I can feel the stress leaving my body. Living creatively doesn't mean you have to conquer it, be an expert at it, or sell it. It just means you're pursuing something for the enjoyment and pleasure of it. This is a pursuit of the futile. Do you like art? Buy a book of Impressionist art and flip through it. Get some color pencils and a sketchbook. Paint along with a Bob Ross video or just watch it. His voice alone will relax you. Happy little trees, anyone? There are no mistakes, just happy accidents. And you know what? We need to hear this every now and again. So experiment with different mediums to see what you like. I discovered that color pencils were my favorite medium. Not the cheap ones that you buy at the beginning of the school year. No, real artist color pencils. Because once you use them, You will never go back to the cheap ones. And do you know why I like them? Yep, I'm going to tell you. They aren't messy. That is my favorite part. So, my practical side still needs to keep my inner hostage in line, but that is how they get along. I use a medium that is not messy. And don't get me wrong, I've experimented with other ones. My favorite ones are color pencils. Do you play music? Dust it off. Are you an ice skater? Find your skates. Do you love to dance? Then crank up the tunes and bust a move. Do you want to write? Then get a notebook that inspires you and start writing. See what it feels like to do something just for your enjoyment of it and get started. You don't have to go out and spend a ton of money on stuff. Living a creative life is very practical. You just need to get started.